The question was about the neck, but I'll probably go in and touch up a few things on this character. One thing I'm noticing is that it's not entirely symmetrical. If you look at this edge ends here and that one goes all the way across. So what I'll probably do is I'll make adjustments to one side of the character and then mirror it again. So I think I do want that extra edge there on the arm. So I'll go ahead and go to the modeling toolkit, which I can get from this button up here, and go down to multi-cut, and I'll click right there and see if it lets me go all the way here. Yes, looks good. Hit enter. Okay, nice. So I've got that extra edge there, and I might as well do the same on the back. Alright. And what I'll do now will help the neck, but hopefully it'll help everything, and that is to use the Sculpt Geometry tool and kind of smooth the character a bit. And what that'll do is round some of the head features and face. It might be problematic for the hand, but it'll probably help the hand too, because everything looks a little bit blocky right now. So I'm going to right mouse click on the surface, go to Paint and Sculpt. Incidentally, that same tool is under Mesh Tools, Sculpt Geometry Tool. It's the same thing. And I can use this brush to paint on here using these various operations. The one I want to use is smooth, and I have this reflection thing on. You can see it's under stroke. I can turn that on and off here. So it does both sides. To change the size of the brush, you hold down B and then click and drag from left to right. But you can see when I smooth, see it's doing a bit too much there, but you see if you use like a light touch, it kind of rounds things out for you a bit. But rather than painting different areas, I think the whole thing needs to be smooth. So I'm going to go ahead and hit flood, and that's like painting the whole thing at once. And see how it started to kind of round things out a bit. Let's try it one more time. Now it's kind of hurting the hands a bit. I think it's losing some detail we want in the hands. So rather than do it globally, I might select an area. So I'm going into the front view here. By the way, to get to the front view, I hold down the spacebar for the hotbox, click on the center, and that's how I go to like perspective view or front view. And I'm going to go into the selection tool, right mouse click for faces, marquee select these faces, and now if I use that smooth tool, it'll only do this area as an example. So I still have the sculpt tool here in my most recent tool spot, and I can flood again, making sure I have this one pressed down. It's not doing much. I'm going to convert the selection to vertices, see if that makes any difference. Oh, it doesn't like to do faces. I'm surprised. So the selection needs to be, by the way you can convert selection is if you hold down the control key and then right mouse click. You know, I could change this vertice selection to faces, or I can change the faces to vertices. Although now I have more than I want. But yeah. So we're starting to lose some detail in the face there. So I'm just kind of undoing back and forth. So what I might do is let's just pick the neck by itself. Let's use the vertices of the neck. Looks a little problematic, some of these things. So yeah, see how that kind of swerves there? That's not so good. So you do kind of want a split down the center, and it kind of looks like you used to have one and it got deleted or something. So I think what I might do first, because this is a little odd to have these vertices here without having an edge that shouldn't really happen, is I'll select those vertices and go to Edit Mesh, delete Edge Vertex, and yeah, that's not doing what I wanted it to. because then I'll have to put the other things back in. Let's see if it works out if I just put these back in like so. So I'll just click on each of these guys with multi-cut tool. And this is where it gets a little weird. It's almost like it's twisted. Interesting. Not sure how it ended up quite like that. Yeah, so with that resolved somewhat, if another trick, if I do Shift and then the period key, which is actually the greater than symbol, it will grow my selection outwards. And I'll try the Sculpt Geometry tool again. Paint, Sculpt, Smooth, Flood. And if maybe you feel like that's too thick now, which it probably is, you can just scale these in. So I'll use this little green guy and scale those in, thin out the neck a little bit. Maybe I went too far. Anyway, adjust to taste, pull out the nose again a little bit, maybe push in these eyes, getting some of that detail back in that we lost from smoothing it. Maybe pull out these lips. Maybe I'll take the top of the head and run the smooth thing a little bit more. Can move it up a bit. Better. We'll do the other thing that'll help the look of this a little bit is if we, something's going on with this shoulder here. I feel like that's pushed out too far. That said, we could lift the shoulder. You generally don't want the faces more than 4 sides, so there's a number of different ways you could split this up. I mean, keeping it simple, I might just, cut these, triangles here, and then end up with 2 triangles and 1 4-sided face. And you could smooth these other areas more, but what I want to do right now is, here's some more. Like, you sort of have to decide what to do with it. I don't know why these edges are here. These vertices are there. Edit mesh, delete vertex edge. And so, and then this guy too. And then you could kind of use multi-cut to figure out how you want to put that back together. So I always want there to be a center line. And, maybe like so. And then we still have this, 5-sided face, so something like that, resolving that in triangles. So, same on the front. Alright, let's just do the same thing. Multi-cut. Click, click, enter, click, click, enter. Alright. So, you can look out for these other ones where you have that as an issue. So I've been working on more on this side of the body. So I'm going to go to the front view. And object. Another. We'll want to get that real center just right. So right mouse click, face. Select just half of the character. I want to really get in there and double check the selection. I'm going to control select to deselect the stuff that I don't want to make sure we have only and exactly half the character. Alright, actually, so I really want the other side, so if I just hold down Shift and marquee select, it'll swap the sides. Okay, delete. Now let's make sure the character is perfectly centered. I'm going to go into move mode by hitting W, then hold down D and V at the same time. And middle mouse drag there. And I'll just snap that exactly to the origin. I'm holding down X now to snap that to the very middle, and then let's move this up. I'm using my middle mouse key after I selected that Y translate thing, that green one, this one. So I select that, click there, and then you can use your middle mouse drag. You don't need to be right on top of it. Get that foot on the ground. And head looks a little small now. Might have been overly smoothed. But maybe we'll fix that in a bit. So now we want to make sure, you can see now everything's sort of perfectly on the center line. See that? So I'm gonna right mouse click, go to edge, double click, get that whole inside edge. And then what I can do, you see how that's not centered. With these fields up here, if I set this to absolute transform, and see this is the X direction, that red arrow, and I type 0, it'll put all of these points at 0 in the X direction. So I hit enter, and that gives me that perfectly clean line there. And at this point I'll mirror geometry, and in the options here I'll just make sure we have +X, that's the +X direction, merge with the original merge vertices. Aha, so that happens sometimes. Usually means there's something a little funny with the character. I don't really see any problems, like there's something off to the side. I mean, I can see that the pivot point is in the very center, and I can try deleting the history, edit delete by type history, and then also modify freeze transformations. What freeze transformation does is kind of zeroes all these out. Modify freeze transformation, see that? And I'll try it again, see if that helped. Oh, it did. Okay, that solved it. Okay, so yeah. What I might do now is you can continue modeling from here. I might do the go to the normals, set to face, and that that makes it look faceted for the moment, but it gets all the normal directions correct. And then I'll do normal soften edge and got rid of that line down the middle and stuff like that. So yeah, so those are some improvement fixes you can do to the model, and